Hello, welcome to the ninth module of Immigration Counselling and Management. And we'll be talking about mental strength, resilience, and also client support today. And we will look at the psychological impact of immigration rejection, the managing disappointment and emotional stress in clients. We look at building mental resilience during repeated application. We also look at counselors' role in motivation and emotional support. We look at the coping strategies for applicants facing refusal. We'll also look at the ethical emotional support without false assurance. And we also look at self care strategies for immigration counselors. Looking at the psychological impact of rejection, a visa refusal is not just a procedural setback. Uh, it's actually a deeply personal event that can trigger a range of um, powerful emotions. And these actually include immediate reaction like disappointment, sadness, frustrations, anger. And another is the ongoing effect, which is anxiety about the future, um, loss of confidence, self doubt, and fear of stigma, and also long term risk, which deals with in terms of chronic stress, depression, decision paralysis, and also strain on family relationships. And looking at it from counselors' insights, the point of view, recognizing this impact is the first step to providing effective support. And the rejection it's often felt as a personal failure, even when it is a procedural outcome. And looking at managing disappointment and emotional stress, the guiding clients, this is actually guiding clients through the emotional storm. And this deals with listening and empathy. Active listening and empathy. And this is creating a space for clients to be able to express their feeling without judgment and validate their emotion. Like, it's completely understandable to feel this way. And then another is reframing the setback. You need to help clients to be able to see the refusal as a learning opportunity, not a personal failure. You need to focus on procedural reasons, not their self worth. Another is problem solving and action planning, and this deals with shifting focus from the emotion to the solution, that is, identifying concrete steps to strengthening the next application. And the last one is stress reduction techniques. Reduction techniques, that is, the introduction of mindfulness, deep breathing, or encouraging. Uh, Introduce mindfulness, deep breathing, or encourage breaks from the process of maintaining balance. From looking at building mental resilience for a long haul, what is resilience? This is actually the ability to adapt, recover, and also move forward in the face of challenges. And for you as a counselor, how do you foster it? How do you foster resilience? One is to encourage a growth mindset, and the second is when you talk about encouraging a growth mindset, you frame setbacks as a lesson. What can we learn from this? That's a question you can ask. And the next thing is Set incremental goals. And for this, you need to break the long journey into small, achievable steps. Celebrate each milestone, e.g., document collection, application submission, and you need to also develop um, problem solving skills. You need to also develop for problem solving skills where you guide clients to analyze refusal and actively find solution. And lastly is to promote self-efficacy. That is, you remind clients of their strengths, past successes, and the power of their own efforts. Looking at the counselor's role in motivation, we look at it from goal-oriented motivation. A counselor must actually motivate based on goal. And this is helping clients to be able to set realistic incremental goals and celebrate progress to maintain momentum. And this deals, another is positive framing, which is the use of cognitive reframing to turn I failed into I learned what needs improvement. And another is reinforcing strengths, which is regularly reminding clients of their qualifications, the skills and achievements that they have actually done to boost, to be able to boost their confidence. And lastly is to provide stability, be calm, consistent, and also um, structure presence in a process filled with uncertainty. The practical coping strategies for clients. This is in three forms: emotional, cognitive, and behavioral. And for emotional, a strategy to be able to cope is to acknowledge feelings, seek support from loved ones, and also practice stress reduction in terms of meditation, exercise, and the likes. Example of this is I'm good to take um, a walk to clear my head. And for cognitive, the strategy is to reframe the situation, realign goals, and also to practice positive self talks. And this is a hurdle, not a wall, as an example. And I can find another way. And for behavioral, it's actually a strategy is to develop a new action plan, enhance skill like language test prep, and also meticulous review and revise documents. And example of this is let's list the three things will improve for the next application. Now the ethical tightrope, which is support without false assurance. And providing emotional support does not mean guaranteeing success. It does not mean guaranteeing success. It's actually, and false assurance are unethical. False assurance are unethical and harmful. And why is it wrong? Why is it wrong? The first is that it's a legal and professional risk for the counselor. The second is it causes greater emotional harm to the client when the promise is broken. And the last is that it destroys trust and credibility. And the ethical alternative to this is be honest. Be honest. Validates, don't promise. The likes of example, I understand you are worried. It's normal to feel that way. And also focus on actions. Like we can't control the decision, but we can control how well we prepare. Example of ethical versus unethical support. For unethical support, which is false assurance, don't worry, you will definitely get this visa. Another is I guarantee you will get the scholarship. And also, after a refusal, the counselor saying the officer made a mistake. No, that's not the right one to say. Ethically, you need to provide a honest support. Like you have a very strong application. Let's make sure it's perfect to give you the best possible chance. Also, this scholarship is competitive, but you meet the criteria. Uh, let's work on a compelling personal statement. Let's carefully review the refusal reason to understand what we can um, to understand what we can improve for the next application. Let's look at counselor self-care. And when we talk about this, immigration counselors are exposed to constant stress, anxiety, and disappointment from their clients. And without proper self-care, this leads to compassion fatigue, burnout, and also reduced effectiveness. And self-care is not a luxury, it is a professional necessity. And looking at self-care as a strategy, self-care strategies include for emotional, you set and maintain professional boundaries. Practice reflective journaling, seek supervision or peer support. For cognitive areas of cognitive, you need to practice mindfulness and stress management. Manage your time and practice prioritize tasks. Maintain a growth mindset. Physical area, you need to engage in regular exercise, you need to eat well and prioritize sleep. And for social area, you need to nurture relationship with friends and families, engage in your hobbies and activities, and also maintain healthy work-life balance. Looking at the benefits of self-care, um, when counselors prioritize self-care, they are better able to one, maintain emotional resilience and objectivity. They provide consistent, high-quality empathy and support. They make clear ethical decisions, avoid burnout, and also sustain a long-term career. And lastly, serve as a positive, stable role model for their clients. And a healthy counselor is an effective counselor. Let's integrate the support into practice now. And let's firstly look at the initial assessment. You need to gauge not only the client's qualification, but also the emotional state and support system. And throughout the process, you need to maintain open, honest communication. You need to check and on their well-being and also not just about the application status. And the third one is after a setback, you need to immediately activate support strategy. Help them process the news before jumping to the next action plan. And the last one is to celebrate successes. Acknowledge and celebrate every win, big or small, to build positive momentum. For resilience counselor, you need to understand that when a counselor practices self-care and ethical support, they are more resilient. And a resilient counselor can better foster resilience in their clients. Resilient clients are more motivated, cope better with setback, and are more likely to succeed. And resilient success in turn, reinforces the counselor's sense of purpose and professional satisfaction, fueling their own resilience. In conclusion, immigration is an emotional journey. It's an emotional journey. And when we talk as it as an emotional journey, um, rejection have a profound physical impact. It has a profound physical impact, and counselor must be equipped to manage clients' disappointments. Building mental resilience is key to helping clients persevere through repeated applications, and the counselor's role include being a motivator, and being an emotional support. And in the process of doing this, you need to set ethical boundaries and don't provide false promises. Also, clients need practical coping strategies to navigate setbacks constructively. And lastly, counselor self-care is not optional; it is fundamental and sustaining a professional, ethical, and effective practices. Thank you.